Billionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams. I know niggas who played ball and gave it up for lean.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams, but my account in overdraft scream.
Rich man greed,
A poor man prayers,
every man bleeds.
but look how God made us.
Too many losses, it's only right that we win. Yeah, I made a promise I'm never gonna lose again.
Under the Fair Use Act, these videos are for information and educational purposes, and I do not own the rights to any of these videos that are shown. All rights reserved to the original content creators.
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy SL550, and this is the Never Gonna Lose Again podcast. Today, man, let me clear my throat. Today, we're going to talk about Ilhan Omar and how, got some interesting things coming out about her and how she just might get deported. I don't know. And on another note, I actually watched I think it was like a documentary earlier, right? That this guy did. I forget his name, but somebody that Trump pardoned that I think it was Obama's administration who locked him up or something like that. I forget. I think it was it was during Obama's administration. Anyway, he did a whole documentary. He sells books and all that stuff, but he said some interesting stuff. He had an interview with a guy that was a former extremist Muslim. That's what he called himself. And he had some interesting things to say about the left, man. Real quick, what the fuck is going on in America, bro? Like, seriously, bro. Like, just like every day, it's like somebody getting killed. These mass shootings, all this stuff going on in the hoods. It's like, it's getting out of control, man. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, bro. It's like sick, to be honest with you, man. And I don't get it, bro. I really don't. I be trying to understand some of these things, but I just don't. I can't. It's sick. But anyway, we're gonna tap in with RJ Talks. He's gonna go over that whole Ilhan Omar dilemma. And then I'm going to tap in with Brian Maxwell. And he's going to break down how the One Big Beautiful Bill is about to go into effect. We know it got passed. So now it's about to go into effect. And with the Democrat, not all, but some Democrat states are doing. And I'm in a Democrat state in New Jersey. And, bro, I'm going to lose my shit if they do this in New Jersey, bro. I'm not even going to lie, bro. And it's just going to be more. I already want to leave New Jersey because it's extremely high to live here for shitty homes. And, don't get me wrong. I love New Jersey. I'm from New Jersey. But it's just so much, like, it's unaffordable, man. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, it's like it doesn't even matter how much money you make here. It's like you're still poor no matter what. And it's crazy. So if they do that, I'm out, bro. I'm not even going to lie. But we'll get into that. And then we're going to end the show talking about what happened at a Sweet 16. Man, I'm just saying, bro. You can't make this stuff up, bro. It's just getting out of hand, bro. I just don't get it. For real. But anyway, let's get into this first. Matter of fact, before we get into them videos, let's tap in with Mornings with Marie. She had Scott Besson on and talking about basically the good things that's about to happen. And it correlates with the One Big Beautiful Bill. So let's get into that first. Hold on, give me a second. Hold on. I'm tripping. Yo, before we start, man, make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Also, hit that notification bell so you get notified every time your boy go live.
Welcome back. The Trump administration hoping to give working Americans a boost in the new year with a new tax $2,000.
Of course. Of course. We got no volume. Hold on. What the heck is going on, right? Just literally went over everything. Everything was good.
by early next year. The payout coming from recent tax changes and tariff revenues, with as much as $100 to $150 billion flowing back to taxpayers in the first quarter of 2026. The White House says it expects this to be the largest refund season on record. I am with the Treasury Secretary this morning, who is also the IRS Commissioner, who is also the guy who's holding it all together. Secretary, what can you tell us? You see all the data. What can you tell us about the upcoming tax season and what we're going to see in terms of our returns?
Yeah, so Maria, let's go back. The one big beautiful bill was passed on July 4th, but for working Americans, it was retroactive to the beginning of the year. Most taxpayers did not change their withholding, so as a result, we're going to see very substantial 100 to 150 billion of refunds in the first quarter go directly to Americans' pockets. So the sooner they file, the sooner they'll get them. Our estimate is it could be 1,000, 2,000 per household, depending on the number of workers.
Wow, that is a big deal. So, Secretary, you've talked about this additional money from the tax code that we're getting. You talked about the impact of the big, beautiful bill. It sounds like you think we're going to get a real economic boost for the macro story in the first or second quarter. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. I think it's going to... They start lifting off in the first quarter and the second quarter. And, you know, Maria, the other thing, when I started my career on Wall Street in the 80s, people used to focus on trade. Were we building more in the U.S. or were we importing more? We're seeing the trade deficit drop, too. So the trade deficit drop means more production in the U.S. So I think that's something that economists are going to have to start looking at again, thanks to President Trump after 40 years.
Well, you're proposing a major shift now in how the government approaches financial stability by re-examining.
Yo, real quick, it's funny though because they'll try to they'll correlate him giving these basically these dividend checks out during refund season, tax season, to a stimulus check. Oh, this is why people voted for Donald Trump, because he's giving people stimulus checks. Yo, I don't know about y'all, man, but I need that extra band. I need that extra 2,000. I need that. Let me get that. Good looking, Uncle Trump. I really appreciate that.
Examining crisis-era rules, moving toward a more flexible regulatory framework. This could not be more important. I know President Trump thinks that deregulation is arguably even more important than tax cuts.
Yes. Well, they go together, and the tax cuts allow corporations, but more importantly, working families to keep more of what they get from the deregulation. And the deregulation allows us to have substantial growth without inflation. What caused the inflation under Biden was they did this gigantic spending, the series of gigantic spending bills, but then they constrained supply through over-regulation. So what we've done, I chair something called FSOC, the Financial Stability Oversight Council, and these 2008, 2009, 2010 financial rules were too tight. They have hamstrung the American financial system. It was time for a change. We are going to be safe, smart, and sound in terms of our deregulation, but we have to take the financial system out of this straitjacket. Yeah. This substantial increase in private credit, which is outside of the regulated banking system, that tells me that the regulated system is too constrained and has not been able to compete with those who aren't regulated. So we're leveling the playing field, and I believe that we can do that in a way that creates trillions of dollars in credit for this very strong economy we're going to see, and it will be non-inflationary.
Secretary, let me move on to China, because we are worried that they are not sending the rare earth magnets that we need in this country. You said to me a month ago that you thought we would have a signed document on a trade deal with China very soon. Where are we with this? And do you trust that, in fact, they are going to flow these rare earths even to companies that are tied to the U.S. military?
So, Maria, it's trust but verify. Thus far, the Chinese have done everything. We negotiated a deal in Kuala Lumpur with my counterpart, the vice premier. President Trump and President Xi had a very robust discussion in Busan, Korea. And Maria, the good news is President Trump respects President Xi, but more importantly, President Xi has great respect for President Trump. And that is new. That is not like the previous administration. Previous administration was all bark, no bite, which is very dangerous geopolitically, very dangerous economically, and the Chinese have lived up to every part of the negotiation thus far.
Well, and they wasn't holding up with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. I heard that obviously they were still getting some type of tariff money from China because of Trump, because Trump put that in place when he was in office. But there was other things that the Chinese was actually taking advantage of and wasn't paying up on. And bro, I don't care what nobody says, bro. The thing that I gotta respect about Trump and this whole tariff thing is the fact that he told you, listen, you're going to have short-term pain for long-term gain. The whole goal is for other countries to open up their markets when we know, because of Trump, that for decades they didn't open up their markets. We weren't selling cars and other goods in these countries. And if people were selling in these countries, they were getting taxed crazy. So now that Trump is saying there's no more of that, you're going to have to pay the same way we have to pay, and you're no longer going to be able to get in our markets unless we're able to get in your markets, period. That just sounds like fair trade to me. Like, I don't get what, oh, it's going to fall back on us. Well, if we elect people that actually says, you know what, we're going to build here in America, instead of shipping all of our manufacturing out of America, then we wouldn't even be in the place that we're in now, relying on all of these countries for certain things. Now, mind you, of course, for certain things, we're going to need other countries for us, and that's what you got to be allies for. You know what I mean? But I see Trump, honestly, going against the grain of what people really think. Like, as far as, like, I see him, I could see Donald Trump really trying to make some type of ally with China and Russia, anybody for that matter, saying like, bro, it's better that we be allies than be enemies, to be honest with you, especially China, for real, for real. Why aren't we trying to be allies with China? Why not? I think that's something that Trump is trying to do, to be honest with you, in the long run.
The president's going to be meeting with Xi Jinping in April. What more do you want to see China agree to?
Well, what we would like to see is them to begin rebalancing. The world cannot have a China that has $1 trillion trade surplus. That's just not possible. So they need to increase their domestic consumption. Many of our allies, early in the summer, when we put up the tariff wall, I told the Europeans, the Australians, the Canadians, the Brits, Koreans, and Japanese, I said, look, this flow of high-end goods from China, the global South, cannot take all of that. It's coming to your shores, and now they are being overwhelmed by this never-ending supply of Chinese goods. And I think it behooves the Chinese. We could do, as Ray Dalio would say, a big, beautiful rebalancing together. President Trump wants to bring back more manufacturing. The Chinese need to consume more. If we could do that together, it'd be a very good equilibrium.
Secretary, you're doing so much. In addition to all of this that you're doing.
And basically just broke down the whole surplus thing. And basically saying, like, bro, the amount of stuff that they, bring into our country is not even comparison to what they allow from American goods to go into their countries. So, bro, Trump opening up these markets, for us to do business in these other countries, and to tax, bro. Listen, bro, you gonna have to pay. You have to pay, you're gonna pay like you weigh. You heard? In order to sell goods. We got the biggest market. Everybody wants to come and sell goods in America, bro. That's a fact. You know what I mean? So why not tax them? I don't get it. You're not going to let anybody come in your store and sell goods in your store without paying a price to do so. It's just common sense. And this is the thing, too. Donald Trump is a businessman, right? And if you go back, I've said this before a few times, he's been talking about other countries, including China, taking advantage of America since the 80s, bruh. He's been talking about this since the 80s. So, and obviously, he's in business. I'm pretty sure he does business with people in China. You know what I mean? And he has in the past. So, it's not crazy for him to be privy to this type of information.
In terms of growing the economy and ensuring that we've got stability here in America, you're also dealing with sanctions on Venezuela, sanctions on Russia. What's the most sort of crushing sanctions, and do you think sanctions actually work?
Sanctions applied fulsomely, robustly, do work, but I think what's happened over the years is we've gotten very lazy on sanctions. So with my Treasury Department, we go in, we have a clear objective. We believe if we do these sanctions, this will happen. We look at it 90 days later. Are we achieving our objective? Because the thing with sanctions, Maria, is you just create new markets. You sanction Russian oil, and then a ghost ship start appearing or disappearing. You're trying to cut off Iranian oil, same thing. So, a good sanctions regime, you always have goals, and you constantly reevaluate whether you're meeting the goals. For instance, on Venezuela, we had Venezuelan oil had been sanctioned for years, but now President Trump has taken the initiative. We are cutting off the narco boats, and for the first time, we have now directly boarded ships carrying Venezuelan oil,
right.
And the oil's sanctioned, and that's the authority under which we take it. And I think the Maduro regime is on the ropes.
Secretary, with all of this that you're dealing with, is it fair to say that you're going to put the IPO of Fannie Mae on the table for a little while? I mean, is this off the table right now?
It's not off the table. That we're working on it very deliberately. As I've told you when I've been on here before, Maria, we have several goals. The first goal and the guiding principle is that the spread between mortgages and U.S. government bonds in any IPO scenario has to remain the same or come down. Then we want to get the maximum amount of value, and we want to create the best shareholder base. So that's still moving forward.
So it's going to be done next year sometime?
Sometime.
All right, real quick before you go, this is my final question here. There is a story in the New York Times. Here's the title. Now it can be told Nancy Pelosi resisted stock trading ban as wealth grew, fueling suspicion. Why is it that Congress is not following the rules that so many others follow, and that is you can't day trade? We spoke with Congressman Brian Stile here the other day, and what he said to me was extraordinary. Do we have that soundbite real quick for the Secretary from Congressman Stile? Let's roll it.
There should be no instance where elected officials are making money off of insider information. If you want to trade stocks, there's a place for that. It's called Wall Street. We have an opportunity to prevent members from day trading, profiting off of insider information. But we have to also make sure that we have individuals who have had successful business careers are still able to come to Capitol Hill. It's my view that we need more people with business experience in Washington who are willing to serve this country.
Congressman, do you believe that members of Congress are day trading?
I think there is clear evidence that people are day trading, and I think the appearance of that impropriety is a risk to the integrity of the institution. You can look at the returns and you see massive numbers of trades. We had a United States senator who was the head of the Intelligence Committee who sold their entire portfolio except one stock in the lead up to COVID. And so I think we see this time and again, and it's a reduction of the integrity of the institution, and it is why it is so absolutely essential that we put in place rules of the road that make it clear that elected leaders cannot profit off of insider information, and I'm of the belief that we can pass that legislation.
And what I've been saying is, too, they need to take money out of politics, bro. Now, I agree with he's saying. People that already have business portfolios and whatnot, there's probably ways around it. You just probably won't be able to trade no more. Anything that you have already that may be in stocks, I mean, who knows? They have to do something, bro, because there's no way that people like Nancy Pelosi are becoming filthy rich and then got the balls to sit there and say that Donald Trump is looking out for his millionaire and billionaire friends. Yo, these people are straight crooks, bro. Let's finish this up.
Oh, my God. Members of Congress are day trading? Honestly, I did not know that.
Well, Maria, I don't know about day trading, but
that's what he said.
But if anyone wants to go to the Treasury X account, my account, we posted a study on congressional trading, and it shows why they outperform. They outperform for two reasons: because they have access to corporate executives, and they have inside information, or two, they have inside information because they know the direction of legislation. And you look at these Pelosi returns, and I'm copying it, but since she came in 1987, her husband's returns are something like the 16,000% versus 2,500% for the S&P. You look at Senator Ron Wyden, he makes Nancy Pelosi look like a piker. I think he had 125, 130% returns. All those stocks were bought during COVID. That, you know, we at Treasury, we in the administration have very strict rules in terms of what we can own. And it is unbelievable to me. When I had my private fund business, we were not allowed to own individual stocks. You can make a lot of money betting on the United States through indices. We had trading rules.
You could do ETFs, you could do index funds.
Exactly. So this is why, exactly as the congressman said, this is why the American people hold Congress in such low esteem. They believe that it's an insider's game. I believe that it would help the institution. It would refocus and look, people come to Congress and to the Senate, to the House and the Senate, to do good for the American people, and it behooves them and their status as great Americans and great patriots to end this now.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, let's end it on that. And that's the truth, bro. They need to end this shit. For real. They need to end this, man, because they taking advantage of the people, man. They taking advantage. And yo, I don't understand. I just don't get it. Like, how are they even able to do these things, bro? Like, and they need to take not even just this whole insider trading thing, even though that's a big deal. They need to take money out regardless, bro. Like, you need to only be able to get small donations from the people. You can't be getting fucking tens of millions of dollars from donors and all of that stuff, bro, because you're just being bought. Let's just be honest, bro. And this is why nobody trusts it. No, and I mean either. I don't trust none of these motherfuckers. None of them. This shit is crazy, bro. All crooked shit going on, bro. All crooked shit. Let's get into this next story with Brian Maxwell. But before we do, I wanted to read this right here, because this is the one big beautiful bill, right? And so I just wanted to break down the key details of the tax deduction. So it says tips deduction. Eligible employees in specific occupations can deduct up to $25,000 in qualified tips from their federal taxable income annually. Overtime deductions. Eligible workers can deduct the half portion premium pay of their time and a half overtime pay from federal taxable income up to an annual maximum of $12,500 for single filers. And then it says, and I think it's I don't know if it says it right here. Let me see. I think it's if you're married, it's up to $25,000 if I'm not mistaken. I think it's doubled. Then it says income limits. Both deductions begin to phase out for taxpayers with a modified adjusted gross income over $150,000, $300,000 for married couples filing jointly. Not completely tax free. Well, let me see. While these are federal income tax deductions, the income is still subject to Social Security and Medicare taxes, as well as state and local taxes, unless the state specifically conforms to the federal laws. So let's get into that, because that's what I want to get into with Brian Maxwell, because these people are fucking crooks. Let's get into it.
Blue states rejoice. You have got to be excited about this. No tax on tips that passed. Federally passed. You should be super excited that you're...
That thing sound like shit. Hold on. What's going on? That joint sounded like shit.
State has decided that even though it's federally, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, these states are going to add those taxes back to your tax record. Yes, they are. So if you didn't pay taxes on your tips and overtime in 2025 because you knew that bill passed federally, well, you're kind of screwed, because now you get to come out of your own pocket and you're going to get to pay those taxes back in to your state. So it's not going to be a federal tax, because you're not getting the federal tax on that. Your state is changing it to a state tax.
Yep.
So if you live in the state of Illinois, you're going to get re-taxed the 4.95% of taxes that they didn't take out of your check the entire year. You're going to get that bill this year. Aren't you so excited that come January through April, when you do your taxes, you get to pay in? Yeah. So what states are actually embarking on this idiocy because they hate their constituents so much, you ask? California, New York, Colorado, Maine, and D.C. So if you live in one of those states and you are in the service industry and you're expecting no tax on tips, no tax on overtime this year, sorry to bust your bubble, but your Democrat politicians hate you and they're still going to tax you. How do these Democrat politicians still get elected? Oh, wait, propaganda. That's how.
And that's what I be, and it's so crazy because I just read it off, and it said that basically is only way you're going to get these deductions or these tax exempts is if the states conform to the new federal law. So now Brian Maxwell is going to break down these individual states who are trying to basically still tax you, and they're basically going to tax you through state tax, local tax, state tax, and Medicare. Bro, how listen, if this doesn't prove to you that Democrats do not give a shit about you, I don't know what will. I don't know what will. Literally, this does not hurt the state at all. It doesn't hurt the state at all, bro. It doesn't hurt the state at all, bro. And they're still willing to take from you. They don't care. They said, hold up, nah, we ain't doing that. And this is what's in the way, man, because I live in a Democrat state and I'm hoping that they don't do this shit in New Jersey. But I wouldn't be surprised, bro. I'm being honest. I hope they don't, though. But he's gonna break down which states is actually doing this, man. This is garbage. These people don't care about us, bro.
Now, as you just heard, she is 100% correct.
Stop
if you had not
backing all
heard,
these people.
just to show you how evil and how vile the Democrats are in those states, even though there is no federal income tax on tips or overtime, those blue states, ironically, the ones with the highest tax rates, have decided that they're just going to make up for it and take that anyway. Even though the federal government is not charging it, they're like, well, we can make up that difference and we'll just ask for some of that too. It is insane what they are doing. Now, as you can see right here, it says Besant blasts Democrat-led states for blocking Trump tax relief and OBBBA. That's the one big, beautiful bill. But let me let you hear from Fox Business. Then I'm going to come back and then update you on what happened in California. But check this out to learn more about, if you live in one of these blue states, how and why they're doing this to you. Check this out.
Even a lot of Democrats, at least privately, were saying that it was a genius idea of President Trump during the campaign to annex tips and overtime pay and certain social security taxes that older folks were forced to pay, to exempt that from taxation. Well, now New York, a big lump of coal they put in our Christmas stocking, they have opted out of the amnesty for tips. They have opted out of the amnesty for overtime pay. And other blue states have done just...
Bro, just think about that. Trump is trying to make it to, he knows that people are fucked up. He knows people are struggling. So he's trying to find ways to, give people some relief. We're giving people some extra money during taxes, from the money from the tariffs. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime. He's putting things in place so people can see more money in their pockets. And you got Democrats in these Democrat states who are saying, fuck you, pretty much. And that's wild to me, bro. But guess what? People will still be retarded. And during the election, they'll go out and they'll vote Democrat because they're a slave. It's just the truth.
It's the same thing. They talk about uniting with the workers. Not a peep, by the way, from Mamdani or the other socialist AOC. Even though she was a bartender, she should understand how important tips are.
Or unions. We're the restaurant and hotel workers unions on this, right? Look, they are terrified that come this tax season in 2026, early 2026, Americans are going to realize that this big, beautiful bill that they have savaged since the day it was signed is actually a good bill for a lot of working class people. Yep. So we have talked about very much the stimulus that's going to come out of this. They don't want a strong economy. They don't want Trump's bill to look successful and like it's really providing for Americans. So they'll sabotage it. But surely someone's going to notice that everyone else in the country is getting these breaks. And if you live in New York, you're not. Now, mind you.
And people are going to flee, bro. I'm not saying they're going to flee just because it is one big beautiful bill. But I'm saying you have some people that be like just tired of it, bro, and they're going to be out. And you're going to see some of these states just shrink because they're like, people are tired, bro. That's why a lot of people are moving to Florida. They're moving down south to these Republican states because, bro, people are tired of the goofy shit that's going on, bro. The stuff with the schools, like, you know, parents got to deal with their kids being taught garbage, things that have nothing to do with, you know, school at all and shouldn't have nothing to do with it. And now, you know, they're just taxing, bro. The taxes is out of control, bro. It should be illegal, like what they're doing with taxes, bro, because they have found a way to tax us in every which way you turn. There's nothing that you purchase that doesn't have a tax. Like, bro, like what the fuck? You can't make this stuff up, bro.
New York has a fiscal cliff. I get it. But my gosh, what a horribly small and mean-spirited thing to do to the citizens of New York.
They literally want people to suffer in order to stay in power.
The same. And look, he just said that. He just said that, yo, just to stay in power. That's all they care about. They need you to suffer. They need you to care about white supremacy. Oh, Trump is a racist, and they need you to care about, you know, racism and all of this garbage that doesn't mean anything. They need you to care about it though, because that's the way they get your vote. They get your vote by playing on racism and by keeping you poor. They want you to stay poor because the longer you stay poor, the more you need to reach out to the government for help. Trump is trying to make it to where people understand that, yo, you know, stop looking for the government to save you. You know what I mean? Trump ain't looking for you to depend on the government. He's looking for you to depend on yourself and make yourself sustainable. But these Democrats, they want you to stay poor. Yo, look what we got. We got all free shit for you. When it ain't free, bro. It ain't free at all because taxpayers got to pay it. So ain't nothing free.
Thing, David, with one of the hidden gems in that big, beautiful bill was it provides billions of dollars for low-income parents to send their kids to a better school than the public school. It's free money to the states, David. Free money from the federal government. So we've got 4 or 5 Democratic governors say, no, we're not going to take that money. We don't want these kids to have an exit option from the corrupt public scheme.
Do you hear this?
These folks are, so if you heard that, even the money given by the federal government to be able to subsidize parents who want to take their children to better schools, the blue states rejected it. So they want their children to stay in horrible schools just so Trump doesn't get the credit. They want their people to pay higher taxes just so Trump doesn't get the credit. These folks are insane. And I can remember earlier, well, it was 2 years ago. My wife wanted us to, we have a really nice property, good land. She wanted to move further up north and get quite a few acres and move like her mother onto it, my mother, do a homestead. And I said, my love, we live in Florida. We have no state tax. Our police officers are great. Our governor is awesome. Our economy is booming and we got good schools. We don't have any small children, but we have grandchildren. Why would we move up there where it was just the change of a mayor and the governor? Life could get drastically bad. We were thinking about moving to Tennessee. That was the one of the places we were going to go. And I'm like, nope, let's just stay here. She agreed, and she tells me all the time, I'm so happy we did. They're about to get rid of our property tax here in Florida. So if you live anyplace else, you may want to consider coming on down. But look at what these blue states are doing all the while talking about, oh, Trump is all about the millionaires and billionaires. But it looks to me, they're targeting the middle class because they know that's really who Trump's tax breaks really help. Yeah, the billionaires benefit from it, but the biggest benefit is from the middle class. Now, look at this here. California. Breaking. California Democrats just voted to kill our Republican proposal to end California state taxes on tips. More proof that they do not care about the struggling working class. Here's the vote tally so you can hold them accountable. Green, keeping tax tips. It is greened out. You got a couple reds and they're greened out, but they supposed to be for the working class.
Bro, just think about this, bro. These people get on, and I know people that, you know, they're slaves to this whole Republican and Democrat thing. And like, they really love the Democratic Party. Like, they love them so much. And I'm talking about, they don't even want you to keep your tips. Just think about that. This is tips. It's tips. You know what I mean? This is money that somebody said, yo, I like the service that you provided us. Here goes a tip. They want to tax everything. Somebody said, hey, good job, man. Here go an extra little something. They want to tax your extra little something. Yo, these people are wicked, bro. Like, what more do people need to see to wake up and realize that the Democratic Party of today does not like you? They need you to stay poor. They need you to stay worrying about Black Lives Matter and LGBTQ Lives Matter and everybody matters and all of this dumb stuff that means nothing. Climate change, all garbage, right? All garbage shit they want you worrying about. All mass distractions so they can keep taxing this shit out you and keep robbing you. Because it's all it's about, and they need to stay in power. That's one of the biggest things. They need to stay in power. So if they stay in power, they can control you more. And that's all it's about. Why do you think that they wanted electrical vehicles? And you think all of these things that they're doing is because they care about the planet and they care about you so much because they're so patriotic? No. Everything that they're proposing is things that do what? Control you. Control you. They want to control. They want socialism. They want, bro, if we have a if America turns into a socialist country, understand, in some socialist countries, bro, they said they on a waiting list to get phones, like a 7-year waiting list to get phones. They get a ration card for food. Like, you gonna have to go somewhere and be like, yo, I saved up, I got 3 rations. They gonna give you 3 scoops of rice. Like, do you understand what some of these people are proposing for you? Why they stay up here, they want to become the elite and the only ones, while everybody else, nobody has a chance. Like, bro, you can't make this stuff up, bro. They taking people tips.
Right? Bull crap. And people see through it. But I'm going to read some of what Scott Bessent said. If you enjoyed this video, do me a solid, hit that thumbs up, because I will never ask you for a cash app, a super chat, or a donation. You hitting that like button, it helps the channel so much. It helps get the video out there. And if you aren't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. And once you do, make sure that you hit the notifications and select all. That way, YouTube will make sure you get notified when I upload new videos. Bessent blasts Democrat-led states for blocking Trump tax relief in one big beautiful bill. Treasury Secretary says Colorado, New York, Illinois, and D.C. are blocking residents from tax relief under One Big Beautiful Bill Act. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent on Wednesday criticized several Democrat-led states for refusing to adopt key provisions of President Donald Trump's landmark One Big Beautiful Bill Act, the sweeping tax bill. Bessent argued that states such as Colorado, New York, and Illinois, and the District of Columbia are deliberately blocking their own residents from receiving the tax relief provided under the law, calling the move a blatant act of political obstructionism and a direct assault on the very families and workers liberal politicians claim to champion. He looks mighty presidential there. By denying their residents access to these important tax cuts, these governors and legislators are forcing hardworking Americans to shoulder high state tax burdens, robbing them of the relief they deserve, and exacerbating the financial squeeze on low and middle income households, Bessent said. In a separate post on X, Bessent circulated a meme casting New York's Kathy Hochul, Colorado's Jared Polis, and Illinois' J.B. Pritzker as the Grinches who stole Christmas. Says, thanks to POTUS, 'tis the season, be jolly, unless you're a taxpayer in New York, Colorado, Illinois, or the District of Columbia. Now, when you get Scott Bessent doing memes, you know it's gone a long way. That's J.B. Pritzker, Polis, and Kathy Hochul. A spokesperson for New York Governor Kathy Hochul criticized the administration's economic approach, saying they have directly contributed to rising consumer costs. Costs are skyrocketing around the country due to Trump tariffs and reckless economic policies that are hurting American families. The American people deserve a Treasury Secretary focused on providing relief to families across the country instead of wasting taxpayer time and dollars playing with Photoshop, the spokesperson told Fox News Digital. The offices of Polis and Pritzker did not immediately respond to Fox News Digital's request for comment. It is not immediately clear which deductions the governors are blocking. He said Trump's legislation, which was signed into law on July the 4th, represents the most pro-worker, pro-family tax reform in a generation, noting that it puts more money directly into the pockets of hardworking Americans through measures such as no tax on tips for service industry employees, no tax on overtime, and a new tax deduction for seniors who rely on Social Security. Bessent said Trump's vision is clear. Real relief for the forgotten men and women of America, certainly for businesses and momentum for growth. He urged the remaining holdout states to
admit. Hold on, bro, because I don't understand what they talking about, because they the ones who made everything unaffordable, bro. They keep trying to lie to the people and say like Donald Trump is making things skyrocket. No, he's not. Things are actually going down. I know, listen, milk went down. Milk was almost $6. It's down to $4.29. Gas, I just got gas earlier, was $2.72. Like, come on, bro. You got to be honest with yourself. Donald Trump has things going down. And everything that he said that he's trying to get, like, I think he said beef was one of the things that is kind of hard to get down. But he said that he's working on it. Energy prices and stuff, things are still high. But they made it so high that even gas coming down to $2.72 is considered low. That's how high shit was, bro. So, of course, things are still going to look unaffordable. But at the same time, bro, these people just lie. That's it. They get up here, play politics. Donald Trump changed politics forever, bro. I'm being honest. And now it's to a point where they don't know what to do. All they can do is just criticize him and go against everything no matter what. And they're willing to die on this hill for no reason, to be honest. And I just hope and pray that these people never get back in office. Like, I'm talking about in power, like be in charge of the majority of the House, the Senate, or the presidency, bro. Because if so, bro, we're fucked. I'm not even gonna lie to you. And you see everything that Trump is trying to do, bro, from the tariffs to lowering prices, everything is him trying to lower shit and put money back in your pockets. Look at with the whole Obamacare. They lying to people saying, oh, Trump trying to kill people. He's trying to kill children because he's trying to take illegal immigrants off of Medicare, off of Obamacare, and being able to, take advantage of taxpayers. What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with it. And Obamacare is the reason why premiums went up in the first place. But you got all of these people out here claiming that, Donald Trump is trying to, hurt the American people. But you notice why they enjoy, if they care about the people so much, when Donald Trump said, instead of giving the money directly to the insurance companies who actually profit and gain, and these politicians, let's give the money directly to the people. The no tax on tips, no tax on overtime. This is money going directly to the people. Directly to the people. So, bro, these people are crazy, bro.
Immediately conform and stop punishing their citizens for partisan games, arguing the American people voted for bold change, not bureaucratic roadblocks. Bessent added that the Treasury stands ready to work with any state committed to delivering on that promise, but we will not stand idly by as this obstructionism drags down the national recovery. This is about putting America first, starting with the families and workers who make our economy the envy of the world. So as you see it, and you know something, Trump's tariffs, the one big beautiful bill passed in July. You hear Democrats screaming all of this crap about tariffs. The tariffs have just started rocking and rolling. They've been screaming that prices was going up since the man took office. And what's crazy about the Democrats, do you notice how they completely leave out the reason why prices went high in the first place by the tune of as high as 60% on some things was, as you know, and I know, due to the Joe Biden 50-year record-breaking inflation high. Urgent message for seniors brought to you on behalf of the sponsor of this video and partner of the channel, Chapter. Seniors, on January the 1st, Medicare even talk about Biden. When was the last time you heard a Democrat even bring up his name?
They won't.
Or Kamala Harris, for that matter. That's what Democrats do, I realize. If they have a bad president, they act as if they don't exist. You know who else they never talk about? Jimmy Carter, who was very Biden-esque. When's the last time you ever heard a Democrat publicly campaigning or doing anything and bring up Jimmy Carter? You don't. Jimmy Carter, as a matter of fact, didn't even really get recognition until he became older and started writing about Israel. That's when they started, because remember, Democrats were really cool with Israel at that time. Now, all of a sudden, they're pro-Arab like crazy. But this is insane how they spin it. And the sad thing about it, man, the Trump deranged people, I expect them to believe it. But I really hope that the middle of the road people know, like, man, this dude been in office for this short a time. That was 4 years. I saw the prices go higher under Trump. I see gas going lower under Trump. I saw some grocery things go lower under Trump. I've seen illegals getting thrown out under Trump. I've seen the border secure under Trump. I've seen them stop a war that had Democrats losing their mind, protesting and going nuts over. As a matter of fact, do you know how sad some of those people are that was doing the free Palestine? You know who they are now? Now they're on the tariff train. These people don't have a cause that they really believe in at all. They're just so anti-Trump that they jump on any anti-Trump train they can find. But
that's a fact, man. Shout out to Brian Maxwell, man. Always bringing it. Yo, these people are deranged, bro. Super deranged. And I don't see. That's why I be saying, bro. I don't see. I don't see the race. I don't see the white supremacists in Donald Trump. I don't see him trying to ruin America. I seen that under Joe Biden. Like we seen that. Like look, the whole Ukraine. Look how much, bro. How much money they were just pouring into Ukraine. The Abigate, the withdrawal from Afghanistan. How they left billions of dollars of military equipment. We're not talking about a couple guns. We ain't talking about a couple grenades. We're talking about tanks, helicopters. They had a parade with our shit. Come on, bro. And you can't make this stuff up, bro. You really can't. And he's right though. They do not talk about how Joe Biden is the reason why prices are the way they are. In every category, every single one. Inflation was crazy under Joe Biden, but nobody wants to talk about it. They want to talk about how Kamala Harris has got a book, 107 days. Like, nobody gives a fuck about your whack-ass book. You know what I'm saying? And nobody really cares about politics. People just care about prices coming down. And, and this is why people need to, believe in what Trump is doing. Because at the end of the day, he's the president. But what these people are, everything that Trump has said, bro, is to put money directly into the people's pockets. Like, the whole tariff thing, let's be honest, if you really want it, that money could just go wherever they want it to go. He's saying, no, we're gonna break down this money and make sure Americans get some of this bread. Like, directly to the people. So forget all they want you to focus on him calling fucking, Ted Cruz lying Ted and shit. Like, they want you to, like, nobody cares about the things he say. Is what he's saying real? He the reason why nobody had trust in the news. Let's be honest. He been calling these news stations fake news since he started. And he's been exposing them. And come to find out, almost everything that this man has been saying all this time has been true. And you also just see it. It's just like not hard to see. They call him he fucks with white supremacists and the KKK, but every time you see a video of him, you seen KKK members come to his rally with shirts on and stuff, and he got him kicked out. You heard him say, "Hey, I totally condemn, the KKK multiple times, white supremacy, all that stuff. But they'll still call him a racist. It's dumb. Anyway, on to the next story. My guy RJ talks.
Ilhan Omar may actually be denaturalized and deported, says this new mind-blowing report digging into the Congresswoman, how Ilhan Omar actually became a U.S. citizen, when she became a U.S. citizen, digging up a change in her date of birth, and this is the key part, a change that made her a minor on her paperwork. This story involves a FOIA request for her father's naturalization paperwork, a newly recovered interview that Ilhan did where she herself discusses how and when she became a citizen. And the fact that we're even having this conversation with everything happening in Minnesota, the massive Somali fraud scandal, wouldn't it be ironic if it's not just the community, the Somali community that's riddled with fraud, but their community leader as well, the most high-profile Somali American?
You work all day, you don't got shit. Thank you for working so hard so I can be home all day, free. I can use my EBT. Go to work for me, white boy, white girl. Yeah, go to work for me, you white animals. Work for me. Yeah, you work for me. And the U.S. government they work for me. All of you work for me. Now go to work. Pay them taxes. Take care of me and my people. Alright? This is my land. I control this place. This is my reality. You all gonna be enchained. I'm gonna lock all you guys up if you don't pay your taxes. You better pay your taxes.
Ilhan Omar lied about becoming a citizen as a minor through her father. She was 18, says the post-millennial. Now, why this potentially could be a bombshell is because if true, it means Ilhan could be legit denaturalized. Before this story broke, the argument that you would hear Republicans making is that Ilhan should be deported because she fraudulently used her citizenship to help her brother obtain his citizenship, that she allegedly married her brother and did that. We've all heard the president say this. There's been reporting about this. Allegations going back years that she should be deported because of this. The problem, though, is that she's still technically a naturalized U.S. citizen. She may have committed immigration fraud or helped her brother commit it, making her brother's citizenship null and void, but Ilhan still technically a citizen. Up until now, in this new bombshell report, the post-millennial alleges that Ilhan Omar herself also committed immigration fraud to obtain her own citizenship. In the report, they obtained what appears to be the only known instance of Ilhan addressing this, which happened back in 2018 during an interview she did with now fired MSNBC host Mehdi Hasan, who asked her, "When did you become a U.S. citizen?" This is how she replies. "I became a citizen actually before I turned 18. My father became a citizen, and so I got my citizenship through that process. It happened in the year 2000, only months before her 18th birthday." Now, before we go any further, let it be known this is extremely bizarre. Let me know if you agree. After all the allegations, nobody, not one journalist or media outlet, has gotten her on the record about this. No one sat her down for an interview, showed her a photo of her second husband and said, "Ilhan, is this your brother? Is this the man you married, your second husband? Yes or no? When did you become a citizen?" No one thought to ask these questions with all the allegations. When mainstream media does that, when they go above and beyond to ignore a story, that's normally a telltale that the story has legs. There's something to it. They write, Ilhan Omar claimed in a 2018 interview with The Intercept, "I became a citizen actually before I turned 18. My father became a citizen, and so I got my citizenship through that process. However, there are only 3 pathways to citizenship, However, there are only 3 pathways to citizenship for foreign-born minors. Omar would not have been eligible for any of them due to her age or her parents' citizenship status at the time. Basically, because of all the attention around Ilhan Omar recently, a woman named A.J. Kern finally decided to do a bit of research into how Ilhan became a citizen, because nobody thought to ever find out before. And you won't believe what A.J. Kern also discovered when she actually started looking into this. Watch.
Good to see you, Liz, and thank you for providing the opportunity for me today.
You know, President Trump has been calling Congresswoman Ilhan Omar into question recently, and White House border czar Tom Homan has confirmed there is an open investigation concerning her immigration status. You're no stranger to politics, I know, AJ, having run for Congress yourself, but you have been raising red flags about Omar for years now. I know there's a bit of a backstory here, but walk us through what you've uncovered.
Right. Well,
Hey, yo, real quick, right? I want to play something real fast from this joint I watched earlier. I want to play this really quick because let me make sure. Hold on. Let me make sure the volume is good, because this guy brung up Ilhan Omar, and mind you, he was a former. He says he's a former extreme Muslim. Whatever that means. But he says he's a former extreme Muslim. But I want to play this really quick.
Islamist, fundamentalist, I would only vote left.
Why is that?
I saw them as very stupid. Let's fear the conservatives.
I played a clip on this on a short one one day, but let me rewind it a little bit. All right.
Coexistence with America. The path of the Islamic Sharia is the only way. And that leads to a clash between the pro-American states in the Gulf region and the Iranian regime. The Iranian government controls the government of Qatar. The Iranians don't pay, so they use Qatari money to pay whomever they need to pay.
Now, you have had some experiences which I think remarkably suggest that not only are the Iranians and the Qataris trying to influence the politics of the Middle East over there, but they're actually trying to influence American politics over here.
During my meetings with the top officials in Qatar to discuss potential major...
So they talking about powerful people over in the Middle East and how they're trying to influence things that's going on over here. And the next guy is going to talk about how Ilhan Omar is kind of like a part of this. Like, she's a stunt dummy, say that much.
Investments in North America. And they reiterated the fact that they produce more gas and oil than any other country in the region. They don't really need the return on their investments. However, their investments in North America is a powerful weapon to influence the elections and see to it that the outcome will fit the Iranian interest.
Which is to defeat Trump.
To defeat Trump. I said we are looking forward to the defeat of Trump. And then we will see the first Friday prayer taking place in the White House as a symbol of our victory and the rise of the Muslim Brotherhood.
Her name is Ilhan Omar. She's a former refugee from Somalia. She's a Muslim American, and she is now the Minnesota State House Representative.
What did the Qataris tell you about her?
They refer to her as Sister Ilhan, and to them, she is the jewel of their political crown. And they told me face to face that they financed her, heavily financed her. And
you hear that? He said they told him face to face that they heavily financed her. So that's why I was saying, like, the money needs to be taken out of politics, because now it's a pathway for enemies of America to basically bolster up anybody who they need to put in position, and Ilhan Omar is one of them. And we see that, though. Like, she's strictly, and mind you, she's Muslim, but she's not a good person, bro.
And they said, you don't need to worry about skeletons being found because the media will bury it. We've seen more than 6 different scandals involving Ilhan Omar. Nobody investigated her.
Campaign finance violations, for example.
Exactly.
How do they control her?
Her weakness, money and sex.
How does said her weakness is money and sex. And mind you, this came out. Mind you, this is from a documentary, and this came out in 2020. This came out in 2020. And the information that he just said is that multiple scandals had already came out, and basically the media has buried it. And now, because Trump is in, he's exposing, him and his administration is exposing all of this stuff that's going on. And Ilhan Omar is a part of this.
They actually use their financial leverage to either influence or control people like Ilhan Omar.
Play this next guy too.
America is a country of law and rules. We do it indirectly, and there are always loopholes that allows us to get through. I actually brought up, what about the media? He said, I think we're almost at the top of controlling that. And we have a lot of journalists who are on our payroll.
You're actually saying that these Islamic governments are making direct monetary payments to members of the mainstream media?
Correct.
These are not remote figures, but people in mainstream institutions?
That is correct.
What you're saying is that there is serious Middle Eastern and specifically radical Islamic intervention coming from abroad into U.S. politics.
Exactly. And I think it's more dangerous than the so-called Russian collusion.
And key word that he said was radical. Radical Muslim Islam.
But doesn't identity socialism and radical Islam make strange bedfellows? I raised the question with Imam Muhammad Tahidi.
Any Islamist will tell you that America is the enemy of Islam. They're chanting death to America every single day. I did it for 7 years. Death to America, death to Israel.
What is the fundamentalist and jihadi agenda for America?
The future of America has to be Muslim.
So here's a paradox. In America, we have a political left. It's a progressive left. As you know, it's sexually permissive. And this political movement appears strangely allied with radical Islam. Can you explain this?
When I was an extremist, Islamist, fundamentalist, I would only vote left.
Why is that?
I saw them as very stupid. I would fear the conservatives because they come with principle. That's not someone they can brainwash. But the left, I know they have no values and no principles to begin with. I dare you to find one Islamic extremist that votes for Donald Trump. Never do it. They'd give their vote to the leftist who wants to run around in pride parades. And Islamic extremists are against gays and homosexuals and transgenders, but they want the left to go and get busy with that. They want them, go speak about the climate, go speak about abortion, go kill yourselves, go do that. Ilhan Omar, she's fighting for abortion rights, and all the other, my body, my choice, yes, go do that, But would she have an abortion? Never. Never. Would she kill a Muslim in her stomach? Never.
And that's a fact. Let's get back to it. Hey, yo, that's a fact, and she won't. So the agenda that she's pushing is to what? Is to hurt Americans. Because that's the agenda, is to hurt America, to bring America to its knees for, I guess, these radical Muslims to take over or whatever the case may be. You can't make it up. And mind you, that was from a documentary from 2020. You want to check it out? It was actually a good joint. I think it's called the Trump Card. It's called the Trump Card. It's on YouTube. You can go check it out. Forget the guy. What's the guy's name? Got like a weird name, but he actually is a guy that let me see. Trump Pardon. See, his name is Dinesh D'Souza. Dinesh is narrated by Dinesh D'Souza. I think he's the guy who made it too. Yeah, it's a good joint though. Just check it out, man. It's called the Trump Card. And yeah, I just wanted to play that because it was kind of some good details in there when, you know, the former extreme Muslim, he was basically breaking it down how he said radical Muslims would never vote for Donald Trump. They would always vote left because these people have no morals, no principles at all. He said they fear conservatives. So it goes to show you, bro, that, you know, even these, he was an extreme Muslim. So these very people that, you know, PBD and all of these guys talk about, because that's what they're talking about. They're not talking about, you know, all Muslims. You can't. But anyway, they, you know, they love to hate Muslims so much. But this guy is telling you from his point of view how they would vote for Democrats. They voting for the left. They said the left has no more. They're easily programmed. He's saying this. Yeah, you can't make this up, man. Anyway, let's get back to the video.
2019, I was looking at something about Ilhan Omar on the internet, and it occurred to me to look at her birth year. I don't know why, or birth date. And so I used an age calculator and found out that she was actually 18 in the year 2000 when her father became eligible to apply for citizenship. She claimed that she became a citizen at the age of 17. So when I realized she wasn't actually 17, I created a video explaining derivation of citizenship and how that works. So to me, this was like completely a red flag that I had figured out that she actually wasn't a minor when her father could apply for naturalization. So it kind of...
And look, if it turns out that there's been a Somali national fraudulently serving in the U.S. Congress for years, sitting on the House Intel Committee for years, that would be a political firestorm, a political earthquake. And by the way, this process that she mentions that a lot of foreign-born people try to use, our system makes it much easier for minors to obtain citizenship than adults. And this happens constantly. People will come here with doctored papers claiming they're 16 or 17 when they're really in their 20s. It's like a known thing, a known problem. The system is being exploited. And in this case, the consequences of that are pretty mind-blowing. N.G.L.A also says she's hearing this may be true. Watch.
Okay, let me just read the following. And they're citing this Matt Tardio on X. Ilhan Omar claims that she obtained her citizenship when her father was naturalized in 2000, just months before her 18th birthday. But there's a problem. No record has been found of his naturalization paperwork. In response to a FOIA request for her father's N-400 paperwork filed by A.J. Kern in June of 2023, the National Records Center was unable to locate any filings under his name. Question, can she be denaturalized and deported if this is substantiated? Answer, yes. If fraud was involved in her father's alleged naturalization, then her citizenship could be on the chopping block because that would be immigration fraud by the dad that would affect her. And that would be a political earthquake, Dave Smith, that if she's not a U.S. citizen, she can't be a U.S. House member, and she could be deported. I mean, I just want to give you that little nugget going off into the weekend.
Now, is this true? We don't know. But the fact that nobody in mainstream media wants to touch it, refuses to even investigate it,
well, we know why,
I think is telling. When you have the U.S. border czar coming out and announcing that HSI, Homeland Security Investigations, believes the allegations are true and that they're launching a formal investigation, that is newsworthy. That's a front page story, people.
The border czar, Tom Homan, joins us tonight to talk about Minnesota as well as a number of other issues. And, sir, it's good to have you back on the show. Trump mentioning the Daily Mail reporting from 2020 that Ilhan Omar married her brother to get into the country. This was last week. Take a listen.
Look at their nation. Look how bad their nation is. It's not even a nation. It's just people walking around killing each other. They've taken billions and billions of dollars. They have a representative, Ilhan Omar, who they say married her brother. It's a fraud.
Calls that a fraud. It's a story that has never been successfully refuted, even though it's now a 5-year-old story.
That's a fact.
That's clearly a deportable offense.
Yo, and even when Jake Tapper had her on, he didn't even ask her this question. So that is so with the Muslim guy said about, I mean, not the Muslim guy, what the guy said about the media covering it up makes sense. As he literally quoted Donald Trump saying that she married her brother. And you, come on, who wouldn't ask that question? Who wouldn't ask that question? And Jake Tapper goes and makes the conversation about Trump instead of asking her a simple question. Hey, is it true that you married your brother? Come on.
Is there an investigation into that?
Can't make this up.
You know, I just got advised by a fraud investigator the other day on that. I asked the question, who reviewed the file, and says, there was immigration fraud involved. The statute of limitations became an issue in the last 4 years when this was first brought up. Who was president? Who ran DOJ? So pulling the records now, pulling the files, and we're looking at it. But this fraud investigator, who I know personally, one of the best fraud investigators in HSI, Homeland Security Investigations, said there's no doubt he reviewed the file. So I'm running that down this week, matter of fact, and we'll see.
It's tremendous that, I mean, and according to the Secretary, Kristi Noem of DHS, she said nearly 50% of the visas are fraudulent in this community. I mean, that would mean that half the Somali refugees are here in some way illegally. What's going to happen? Is something actually going to happen? Are there going to be really people stripped of their visas, deported? Are we going to see that?
Absolutely. I mean, those days are over. Thank God President Trump's in the White House. We're going to look at all of them. I mean, we're going to look at those here illegally, of course. We're going to look at those here under a visa or some sort of, immigration process that are criminals. We're going to look at the national security threats. But those who came through a process that weren't properly vetted, who didn't provide documentation, who slipped through the Biden's weak processes on, giving visas and temporary, whether student visas or visitors visas or whatever. We're going the whole gamut. President Trump has instructed us go down and we're going to deep dive all of this. And we're going to hold people accountable. So yes, there are going to be multiple deportations coming. Absolutely.
All I can say is when you take a step back and think about this, imagine the fallout. The Somali community in Minnesota today is known for what? For fraud. Everyone knows that Somalia, the country, that their economy is run on piracy and fraud. There's this monster scandal happening, plaguing Minnesota right now, upwards of $8 billion in stolen tax dollars, all centered around the Somali community there and the leaders of that community. Are they coming out against this fraud, against these fraudsters, condemning it? Not really. One of their leaders is now wrapped up in the fraud scandal himself.
All right, this news just breaking moments ago. Fox News has obtained photos of one of the Somali illegal immigrants wrapped up in the Minnesota fraud scandal, posing with several high-profile...
We ran across that story already. Shout out to RJ Talks. Let's get into this. Let me move this real fast. Let's get into this. Let's get into this next story. So, I think this was in New York City. They had a shooting at a Sweet 16.
Gunfire erupting outside a Sweet 16 party in Cypress Hills just after 1 a.m. Sunday. Police say 2 shooters opened fire, injuring 6 teenagers, ages 15, 16, and 17. The gunman can be seen on surveillance video firing shots in the direction of that party before running away. The Citizen app video shows NYPD responding to the violence and carrying one of the young victims on a stretcher. Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch says investigators are combing through video of the incident.
Based on security camera footage provided by the venue, 2 unidentified males were observed walking southbound on Ashford Street toward Atlantic Avenue. Upon reaching the intersection, both individuals displayed firearms and discharged multiple rounds toward a crowd gathered outside of the venue. The suspects fired westbound on Atlantic Avenue before fleeing northbound on foot toward Ashford Avenue, 2 parts unknown.
The violence unfolding outside the Barbuja events venue on Atlantic Avenue, where authorities say the party was being held. 1 teenage girl was shot in the chest and hips.
Hey, yo, my whole thing, bro, is at what point, bro, is this shit gotta tighten up, bro. Come on, you shooting at Sweet 16s. It's crazy. Just shooting, yo, bro. At some point, bro, we gotta change. Cause we know this with some niggas, man. I'm just being honest. You could tell by the body language and everything. Way they was shooting. Come on, bro. Like, just reckless, bro. It ain't even no, it's not even no organization. It ain't no rules no more. Everything off the table. These niggas is just straight cowboys, man. They just out here just shooting up anything. Shooting up little kid birthday events. Like, what the fuck, bro? God damn. Meanwhile, you'll have all of these so-called black leaders talking about, Trumpity, Trumpity, Trump. When we need to clean up our own neighborhoods. Because this is where a lot of this stuff is happening, you know? It's more black people killing black people than white people killing black people. Just being honest, man. And we need to tighten up. And we need to bring integrity back. And listen, to me personally, bro, I've been in the streets. I done sold drugs. I done did robberies, been to prison twice. I did all the goofy shit. I done did it. That shit corny as fuck, bro. That shit mad corny. It don't get you. I never got anywhere doing any of that negative shit, bro. None of it. And I never did anything, never did no wild cowboy shit like this. But the streets is done. The streets is done. Back in the day, bro, niggas had integrity in the streets. You know what I mean? They was telling they wasn't trying to get the young boys, trapping, none of that stuff. They was trying to keep the young boys away from the bullshit. It was some type of organization. They even motherfuckers that sold drugs respected your mom. They respected the elders. Nowadays, man, these little niggas ain't got no filter, bruh. Anyway, let's listen to some more of this.
According to detectives, fortunately, Tish says all the injuries are non-life-threatening. Mayor Eric Adams says this shooting underscores the urgency of removing illegal guns from city streets.
When you think about it, 6 babies were shot in Brooklyn overnight while attending a Sweet 16. And it just tells us how our continuous effort to remove illegal guns off our streets have a crucial role in the city. And the close to 25,000 that we have removed saved lives.
The exact motive remains unclear, although Tish says the shooting appears to be gang-related. Venue management is emphasizing that the violence erupted after the party was already over, saying in a statement, Burbuja Events wishes to clarify that no shots were fired inside the venue and the incident took place entirely outside our premises. Our management team is fully cooperating with authorities and remain in active communication with the NYPD. As the search for the gunman is ongoing, Tish says detectives are following all leads and will provide...
Bro, just look at that, bro. Let's rewind that. Just look at this. These niggas didn't even care. They got word. Listen, they got word that whoever was over here was over there.
Going. Tish says detectives are following all leads and will provide updates.
Look at this, bro. They just start busting. As soon as they hit the corner, they start busting. Bro, you can't make this up, man. Out here doing the most, man. And to shoot for them, I mean, who knows? But I would assume that these is young niggas doing this. Come on, man. What's going on? What's going on? Shit slowing down. Hold on. God damn, man. Why I always do this when I get to the end of the stream? As soon as I get to the end of the stream, it start acting up. It's only been doing this like the last 3 episodes, man. God damn. It's killing me. But yeah, man, these niggas is out here young as hell, getting their hands on guns, and they giving, honestly, bro, they giving them a reason. Now, me personally, I think that legally, people should be able to, have a firearm to protect their homes, and it was originally put in place for if, you know, the government got tyrannical, you know, you go overthrow that motherfucker. So I don't know about getting rid of guns totally. I think there's definitely room to improve on gun laws for sure. But to totally take them and all that, I don't believe in that shit. Let me try something real fast. I don't know why it's doing acting up. Whoa. Whoa. Yeah, I think it's just crazy though, man. You got young niggas out here, 15, 16 years old, out here just senselessly killing each other. Like, it's just getting, I just think the whole gang culture and all that stuff is just getting out of hand. But to me, the streets is done. If you still in the streets, bro, you might just pack it up, man. Just, you know what I mean? Because I'm telling you, the nigga that's at the 9 to 5 is living better. I'm talking about 15 years of my life gone, can't get it back. And I gave it to the streets, getting high, living life like a rock star, all that dumb shit, doing dumb shit, been high, been low. All it did was end me up in the big house in a nice little box. That was it. Yo, these what's the names is getting out of control, man. The bit rate is crazy on the video. What the fuck's going on? Hold on, let me try this. This joint is getting out of control, man. Damn. Soon as why wouldn't it get to the end of the video? God damn. Anyway, let me try to finish this video, man. God damn. This joint killing me. I'll take the video out.
More information becomes available. And so far, no arrests have been made. Police are searching for 2 males wearing all black with surgical masks. Anyone with information is on this incident is asked to call police. For now, we're live here in Brownsville, Brooklyn. Jeanne Caldwell, Pix 11 News.
Yeah, man. So, anyway, Ilhan Omar about to get deported. Fucking, they just every time you turn around, they fucking robbing us blind. People trying to get this no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and you got Democrats in about 5 Democrat states who's trying to sit there and continue taxing and not letting the people take advantage of, you know, Trump's one big beautiful bill. But man, look, the stream acting up. I'm about to just get out of here. Anyway, it was a good one today, man. If you fuck with the show, make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Also, I'm working on getting some merch soon, some N.G.L.A. merch. Shit gonna be fire. Look for that coming soon. Definitely gonna be selling it. Gonna have a little shop somewhere. So I'm gonna have that soon available. So you can go check that out. But I'll let y'all know when that drops. But yo, this your boy SL550. This is the Never Gonna Lose Again podcast. Until next time, I'm out. Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams. I know niggas who play ball and gave billionaire dreams. I know niggas who play ball and gave it up for lean.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams, but my account in overdraft, I'm about to scream.
Rich man greed,
a poor man prayers.
Every man bleeds,
but look how God made us.
Too many losses, it's only right that we win, yeah.